how does pseudonymity or anonymity play into this, right? In terms of if I'm out there with my real name and I can be found, I'm liable. What happens if I am using a Twitter handle, but you don't actually know who I am? Or literally in a, kind of, and that would be like a Satoshi Nakamoto situation, right? Like a pseudonymous name, or actually just literally anonymous, like nobody knows who did this, but now it's out there. Is this something where just like, hey, people spend enough money and like they'll eventually figure it out? Is this, you could convict like a pseudonymous person, and then if they ever get uncovered, then the conviction sticks to them? Like, how does that work?
So, yeah, that is a really good question. And I'm actually a Gitcoin kernel mentor for their Block 2 program. And we had a big conversation yesterday with all of the fellows. And the answer to that is, one, you certainly could delay the inevitable, being pseudonymous or fully anonymous. That is true. And I want to be clear that this is a separate analysis from Satoshi. That's different. And I can go into that why. But if the U.S. government, for example, decides that they want to come after you, they're going to come after you. They're going to use chain analysis. They're going to use the NSA. They're going to use whatever they can at their fingertips. They will eventually figure you out unless you are just hacker extraordinaire and you covered all your tracks. Eventually with enough resources, and I would argue the U.S. government has enough resources, they will pierce that anonymity. Where the sort of delay comes in is when you then back down from that and you're looking at civil claims, and you've got attorneys who are, maybe suing, I don't know, something like Sushi Swap or Uniswap. Like the anonymity that might be there will certainly pose difficulties. There'll be evidentiary questions, but ultimately, I think the answer is with enough resources, pseudonymity will be set aside. It's just a question of whether or not you need law enforcement to do that, or a well-funded individual to do that. And I think that's sort of up for debate. I don't know if we're anywhere near that yet. But that's a lot of people will argue that to me and say, well, I'm anonymous, nobody knows this, or I'm located in the Czech Republic and I've got a company in Mauritius. Like, what's the risk? And it's like, it's just delaying. If something's going to happen, it's going to happen.
You mentioned Satoshi Nakamoto kind of being a separate case. Explain that a little bit.
So, I don't think that we're going to see the U.S. government figuring out, or at least publicly, who Satoshi is. I think that it's so far back and it's so foundational that, and Bitcoin has been basically deemed a commodity by the CFTC. They're more focused on more recent things. So if someone tried to do a pseudonymous launch of a new token, SEC is going to catch that. They're looking now. I don't think there's any incentive for them to try to piece together what happened at the founding of Bitcoin. And even if they did, I'm not sure how much, what would they accomplish at that point? I honestly don't believe that there would be anything worth that spend of resource. It's definitely, the DeFi stuff that is clearly implicating some of the banks' receipt acts. Things that would impute the Patriot Act. We're talking about billions of dollars. That is where they're going to focus. That is where the pseudo-anonymous founders are going to be experiencing government heat.